Hella.
Hey, there's my Porky Pig. What's going on?
Oh, just watching a little football here.
Yeah,
I tried to mute my television. I don't know what I did. Yeah,
very, very little football. Uh, Minimal efforts by your team there, my friend. I'm
yeah,
glad.
yeah,
I'm glad my team didn't play today. I want a little suspense for Monday night. So, before we get into it,
yeah,
I feel like we have to address our last uh, recorded conversation.
yeah. Here we go.
I just you know I wasn't gonna air it, but it was so good, and we didn't have a podcast because you were having quite a sudden bout of the illness that I figured that even though it was only 2 minutes and 35 seconds, that was going to be the podcast for Christmas. And I got to tell you, I've listened to that thing like 10 times. I can't stop laughing. There's this one part. So you're coughing so much
Right?
that it's almost making you throw up
Yes.
while you're talking to me, and
Right?
and like the third time, you're like in mid sentence, and you make this noise this. I can't even reproduce it. This like in the middle of your fucking sentence. I can't. Every time I hear it, I'm just laughing because you've like coughed yourself like to the point of throwing up, and then you're also trying to talk to me, and I realize what's going on, so I'm trying to keep you on the phone longer. And that third time when
So,
you're just like you're about ready to give up breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at once. And it's just such a sound. Like even just thinking about it, I'm laughing. I got a tear rolling down the side of my face.
I'm still under the weather here. So,
You've been.
um,
Let me tell you something. You've been under the weather for like 3 months.
I
You either
know.
have like walking pneumonia, and you're gonna drop like Jim fucking Henson one day, or you've got like the COVID and don't realize it because
Uh,
because
I don't think.
you.
I don't think I. No, no. My superior genes will fight this. The Italian blood will take over.
Oh
The
my god.
meatballs and the sauce.
Yeah, the red sauce running through your veins.
It's like, the Hulkamaniacs and the blood running through his veins. It's the sauce and the gravy running through my veins.
Uh,
But I sound awful right now. I can tell I sound awful.
yeah.
I don't sound good at all. I am definitely sick.
I
I
want
am
to.
trying to get to the doctor today. I will say that.
I want to reiterate. I need you to put
No, don't. Enough.
your
Enough of this shit.
email and password for your TikTok account down somewhere for me, because like I
No.
said, you're acting like you just got the cold, and you're gonna not wake up one morning, and
No.
then
Enough of your shit.
and then I'm gonna then
You
all
know,
that 265,000 uh, person fan base on TikTok is just gonna go to waste. Just totally go to not the, technically it's going to waste now. You're like you've been
yeah.
phoning it in for months, but I'm just telling you, man.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
First of all, what kind of working environment is this? I mean, I'm sick. I've got to do the podcast. I'm being forced to work in these
It's
conditions.
called being an adult. You got
I
responsibilities.
you
You got
know, I really
commitments.
should call the HR department next week.
Yeah,
We have to have him on. We
call
have to have him on
call
next
Mr.
week.
Fives for sure. He'll
Not today because he's probably drunk in the tub, but
well, what do you think you'll be tomorrow?
that's true. That's
Oh
true.
shit. So
So yeah, I will say this. I'm super under the weather again today. Like I literally could
good,
barely move.
good, good.
Uh,
I love that you're
I got
sick through your whole vacation again. This is
it's 2 years in a row. What the
tremendous.
fuck? Such a mush you are.
How am I the mush?
This is your fault somehow.
Oh, I'm just enjoying it. I didn't create it, but I'm
No,
enjoying it.
no. I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting. I got one eye open because my face is so swollen. My right eye is like closed. I look like Popeye. Yeah.
You sure it's just
Thank
not?
God, because you know
It's not swollen from overeating.
I can't even. I have zero appetite. Like I don't even want to eat.
Yeah,
So
that'll.
if anything comes out of this, maybe I'll lose weight
Yeah.
because I don't want to touch any food. I don't want to like anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. This is brutal. I blame Drew Barrymore. It's her fault. Fuck her.
She put the malocchio on you.
She did.
Gave you the old Italian evil eye.
She did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
again,
Anyway.
you deserve all of this.
You know, I never was going to listen to me cough this whole podcast.
You could have lied to the Drew Barrymore show and shown up like this, and they would have all sued you.
So I'll say I went back and listened to the little soundbite from the other night. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Especially the part where because
not funny.
You started it with "I know you're recording, but we can't do it today," and then like literally another minute in, you're like, "You better not be recording this. I don't want to hear some soundbite later."
I know. I listened to it a couple times because I was like, I got to hear this. You know.
Yeah.
I see it. You know, it was shared. People shared it.
Yeah.
You know. You and Sarah had a little back and forth, a bunch
Yeah.
of fucking comedians.
Yeah.
You two are. You know, I mean, I'm over here dying, and this is what I get.
Yeah. It's exactly what you get. Yes. So
well,
now I will relegate you with a short story.
Okay.
That I may have like given you the highlights of earlier, but I mentioned earlier I compared you to Jim Henson because Jim Henson like got ill, thought he had just like a cold or something, and then died. Like it was like over the course of like a couple of days. I don't remember the specifics if it was some kind of walking pneumonia or whatever it was, but it reminded me of the story that because he died, Heather, his youngest daughter, who went to my college, the Rhode Island School of Design, I think she missed either a semester or a year from it. And then when she came back, she was in our dorm, and she was like a year behind or something like that. But she was in our dorm. So I guess she would have been a year ahead of me, but then she wasn't, something like that. And so she was friends. We're all still kind of friends now. I mean, like, I don't know, years ago, she was going to be at Dragon Con, so I sent her a message, and I saw her there. They had the traveling Muppet thing with the sing along with the Muppets thing where you watch the movie, and there's like all this live stuff with puppets and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And we went and saw her at that and hung out afterwards. So, you know, we're friends.
Wait a second. Hold on. Before you get to the story.
Yeah.
You're telling me we have to have her on the podcast.
I mean,
you got to pull that. You got to swing that, pal.
I mean, I guess I could. I mean, but she's not. I don't think she's got the same sentimentalities we have. She's unless we want to talk serious puppeteering stuff or something.
Oh fuck yeah! Who doesn't want to hear about puppets?
Okay, I mean, you know, because we do dick and fart humor. I don't know that that's her bag, but she did. She is still friends with me and Steve and a couple other guys. So maybe
that's why we have 3 listeners.
She's at least tolerant of that stuff. There's another good Heather Henson story. Maybe I'll tell you that one too. But I got 3 of them actually. So this one's embarrassing, but not purposeful. So we're all in school together, and I bought the Dennis Leary had a comedy CD come out. And this was when he was like red hot, when he used to do like those rapid fire shit talking promos on MTV all the time, back in like the early 90s. And I got the CD and I hadn't really listened to it, and I'm playing it and we're all hanging out and it's just kind of on and we're all kind of listening to it, but we're also like kind of chilling out, drinking, hanging out, doing our thing. And all of a sudden, he makes this fucking joke about Jim Henson dying. And Heather's like there. And I'm like, it's like one of those things where you want to like run over and you're trying to hit the stop or grab the volume as quick as possible on the stereo system. Cause it's just like fucking like, you're like, I didn't vet this first. How would I know that? Like even in the early '90s, you're not like it's not like today where you gotta you gotta pre-screen everything for sensitive people. But I didn't know
Yeah.
that was gonna come through the speakers. I was like, oh my god. So like I felt bad, and she's like, well, it's not like I made the joke, so it wasn't a big deal. But it was still like super
Right.
embarrassing and bad timing and whatever. So then my second quick story was that after I graduated, my buddy Steve and I drove down with my stuff from Rhode Island back down to Florida, and we stopped in Orlando to hang out at her like family has like a house on a lake in Orlando, with like a dock and jet skis, and they had a stable and all this other shit. And we and her brother John was there, who's no longer alive, but he was there, and he was kind of like, I mean, I guess he was kind of like, I mean, I don't know how to describe him, but he was kind of like maybe a little bit of a screw up at that time or whatever. But he worked me and Steve, like worked us, like master worker worked us into cleaning out the fucking barn of like all the hay and shit. And we were just happy to like help and like, John's asking us to help him do something. And literally like 3 hours later, she comes around. She's looking around for us, and she realizes what we're doing, and she goes off on her brother, like screaming at him to like what, you're making my friends do your like it was like his chores or something, and like he had worked us into doing like
And
what.
you just did it?
Well, he was like, yeah, we were. I don't know. We were just trying to make him happy or something. It was like whatever. We were still listen. We were still green back then, so.
Right.
We didn't know better. We didn't know about getting worked. We were just fucking college students. So, and then the third story was that there's a videotape somewhere my friend Steve has where I got her in such a rage because of I don't remember what it was originally, but I had a room in college that had it was like on the first floor of this building, but it was on the back. My room was on the back side of the building, so that I had a balcony, and then technically it was like the second floor. It was like a drop. So like people like I would leave the balcony unlocked because you couldn't really break in. We were on the second floor, and some of my friends would climb up, and it was just like an open house. You could come into my room anytime. It was kind of like a hangout. There's always like bottles of alcohol, and we'd go smoke stogies and joints on the fucking balcony, and the music always playing. And there'd always be people hanging out in my room even when I wasn't there. And so because it was kind of like a little bit of a hangout clubhouse kind of deal, there was like porno magazines in there and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know what it was, but I got her upset, and she grabbed the box of porno magazines, ran through the house into the street out front, and like threw them out into the street, like in the middle of the night in like Providence, Rhode Island. Just like now there's all these like porno magazines in the fucking middle of the street in front of our building. And I grabbed her like it's like an artsy fartsy magazine called Utne Reader or something like that. I grabbed
What?
it. Utne, Utne. I think it's like German or something, but it's like an art magazine or something. And she hadn't read it yet. And I grabbed the magazine. She's like, give it back, give it back. I'm like, go get my shit. I was going to make her do the humiliating walk of going outside, picking up my pornography and bringing it back to me. And one by one, I just started tearing pages out of the magazine. Every time I did it, she would scream at the top of her lungs and and get madder at me. And there's like a videotape somewhere of it. Like Steve was recording the whole fucking thing at the time. So those are
On like a handheld camcorder?
yeah. Like probably a big one, not even like a mini tape. Like a mini tape. Probably one of the full video cassette recorders.
That's funny.
It might have been the little ones, but I have a feeling Steve still has it somewhere. That might be a gem to pull out one day.
Yeah, I feel like that has to be.
Yeah. So yeah, but all that came from reminding me of the joke Dennis Leary made.
Yeah,
About
no,
him.
that's actually pretty funny because you told me that story. I did not know that you knew her.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. I've met I knew her and met her brother. I didn't meet I've never met the other three kids, but
But you never met.
they were
You
all
never.
like
You never.
successful adults by then. They were all older, so
Right. Huh. This is interesting.
she was kind of she would have been a good hookup back in the day for like MGM and Disney tickets because they had done the deal for the Muppets by that point. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. We when we were down visiting her on the way down after I graduated, uh, we did the parks. I think she hooked it up. So yeah, but she's cool. She's super cool. She has like pup. I think she still has a puppetry like business. I think it's called Ibex Puppetry. But
We need to get her on. This is like I feel like you've been holding out.
I mean, I know people. I just don't.
Right. So why are we you want to sit here and talk shit that I don't do this, that, and the other? I feel like you've been holding out, pal.
Whoa. Let's clear the air first. What do I already do?
No, no,
Everything.
no. I'm talking about guests, about content.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm the one that books Billy and Bobby and whoever else we've
We're
had on.
not we are definitely not counting those two.
Well, who have you booked?
Listen, if I didn't go after Billy, it would have never happened.
Listen,
Let's be
this
honest
listen
here.
shit. Now, Billy likes me. He likes me less since I've been associated with you so much.
This is true.
Yeah.
I
So
did see he has that in the tub right now.
yeah, that's no big deal.
I did see
That's a
that.
normal Sunday.
Uh, Funny you're talking about kind of famous stories. I was at work earlier this week, and I was in the conversation with the guy. And I was talking about something with Seinfeld. I said Seinfeld, and he said, "Oh, I know Jerry." And I said, "You know Jerry?" He goes, "Yeah, I went to high school with Jerry. We had like numerous classes together." I said, "You're shitting me." He's like, "No." He's like, "He's a year older than me, but we went to high school together. We grew up in the same neighborhood." And I was like, "Oh no, great." He's like, "Yeah, he's a fucking dick." He's like, "He was a dick when he was in high school. He was a dick after high school." He's like, "He was an asshole." I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "There's no way that Jerry Seinfeld's an asshole." He's like, "No, he's a fucking asshole. Like he is an incredible asshole." I was blown away by this.
I
Blown
mean,
away.
I'll buy it.
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
really.
Yeah, I think he's very particular. I see him. I saw him do a thing on the red carpet once where some famous singer wanted to come up and hug him. He
I
was just,
saw it. It was
he
like
was just
Cardi
like,
B or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was someone less like
Oh,
it was someone even more like kind of
right, right.
innocuous than Cardi B, and he was just like, no, I don't want to hug you. I don't even know you.
Yeah, he said that he was that when they were in school, that he said like he was a jerk to everyone and everybody hated him. Like kids wanted to kick Jerry's ass and like nobody liked him. They're like, and I said, "Well, was he at least funny?" And he's like, "He was such an asshole. Like he thought he was funny." I was like, "He's fucking hilarious." And he's like, "Nah," but then at that point, like everybody just hated him. I was like, I was blown away
Yeah,
that Seinfeld was an asshole in school.
that's a little surprising. I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like Larry David would be cool to hang out with.
yeah. Have you seen the pictures where he takes his daughter to all the Civil War sites?
No,
You haven't seen that?
no.
So Larry David took his daughter on a tour of like all these Civil War sites, and she's like miserable the entire like. Obviously, she's like a teenager or something, you know, maybe a little older than that, like maybe in her like 1920, and he is. The picture is her with this look on her face, and he's like like has like one of those big cannons, and he's like rubbing it like with his like it's like in front of him, and she has this look on her face, and she's so pissed
Like she's
with the
like, Dad,
cannons there.
we're like fucking billionaires. Why are we going to?
Right,
Let's do some fun billionaire shit. Why are we fucking?
right. Touring. Yeah, they're touring. The they're touring. Yeah, they're just touring the whole like Civil War, whatever it is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. There's a picture of it somewhere. So, uh, so anyway, yeah, um, yeah. That was my story. Contributing to the, I mean, this is like a couple weeks in a row now. We've talked about celebrities. You take pisses next to them.
I mean, I don't want to book anyone on the show until you're 100% because it's pulling teeth me just having to work with you. But if unless you want me to replace you with famous people, I can do that. I got plenty. I
I
got
just think
I got
that
plenty of
we
people
should
that are a
have.
bigger draw than you for sure.
No, but I
Especially,
think we should.
yeah. What?
But you're telling me you don't think we should have more people on,
I mean, sure. I mean, listen.
like guests?
I understand that you're all for anything that involves you doing absolutely no extra work. So, of course, you're just going to volunteer me to like go fucking recruit people to come on the show because not only do you not have to do any of extra work, you're going to have to talk less on the show. So, listen, I see through you. This is such a fuck. Listen, John Henson, I'm not 20 years old. You ain't gonna be able to work me into fucking shoveling more fucking hay, okay?
Well, listen, it worked. It worked then. It may work now.
It ain't working now. I ain't
Look, we
working
can
now.
have. There's plenty of people we can have on.
I'm too wise.
People are tired of hearing our story. We don't even have anything good anymore. We're just talking in circles here. We talk about farts and food and shitting.
What do you mean? I
And
just brought like I just brought new stuff. I didn't go to the well and retell something. I didn't go, oh, I heard Seinfeld was a dick. That's all I got.
you've been holding out on that story though.
Well, I mean, what am I gonna like tell everything at once? I got
I feel
lots
like you've got more stories.
I got plenty of stories. I just got to remember them. It's like you dying reminded me of Jim
Oh,
Henson
God.
dying, which reminded me of the fucking awkward thing, which reminded me of, it's gotta come from a natural place. I can't just conjure up memories out of the
Well,
blue and it
here,
not flow or anything like that. What do you want from me, man?
yeah. I mean, I don't really have many good celebrity stories because they all involve wrestlers, and I don't think anybody really cares about that.
Well, I don't necessarily have a lot of celebrity stories either. Although
Yeah, I mean,
I did meet Matt Damon once at the airport when
really.
me and Jackie were there. I think we went to get his autograph. To be honest with you, so I have
Oh,
yeah, he was kind of cool. He signed everything, took pictures. It was kind of cool. And I think at the time, I forget what rivalry was going on, but there was some like maybe it was the Patriots Dolphins thing or something. But we were giving him the business over something New England related.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and but he was cool. I've got two Born Identity DVDs with the
Oh,
insert,
wow.
the paper inserts, that go in the
Right.
DVD covers. I had him sign those, and I got a photo with him somewhere.
Wow, that's a cool story.
It's not that cool.
Cool
The story basically boils down to I went to the airport to get an autograph from Matt Damon.
story.
It's not like there was any it's like there was any great interaction there.
But I think I may have told this
Although,
story
did I tell
before
you? Wait,
about.
wait, wait. Did I tell you ever tell you the story? Speaking of me and Jackie in the airport getting autographs and pictures, did I ever tell you the story of Jackie trying to get Snooki's a photo with Snooki?
No. Oh,
Remember when she did WrestleMania? I think it was in Atlanta.
right.
I think it was in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
She
And,
wrestled.
and so the hotel that we stayed in, that also all the WWE guys stayed in, was right downtown. And it was, I don't know if people know Atlanta, but there's this little group of hotels that have like crosswalks, like elevated crosswalks connecting them, like elevated walkways and shit like that.
Right.
And it's also, if you're a comic book nerd, those three are part of like 5 or 6 hotels downtown where they have Dragon Con also.
Yes.
And the hotel we're staying, right like up the street, like a block, is the MARTA train that takes you right to the airport. So we would know when the flights were coming in, and we would jump on the train, zip over there, get some guys getting off the flights, get photos, get autographs, whatever. And so Jackie wanted to get Snooki. I don't give a shit about Snooki, and I knew it was going to be a fucking shit show. So I was just there to like witness. But we may have like gotten some other people while we were over there. But so he is trying to get a picture with her while she's walking because she's not stopping for anyone. She's not acknowledging anyone. She has like a little bit of an escort with her, and she hands Lou the camera. And Lou he's like yelling at Lou to take the picture, take the picture. Lou takes the picture. And then she's gone. It was like literally in this tiny stretch before she got outside and they get her in a car. Like he got her, there was no chance to run and get her again. This was the last part of the walk. And so he got her right in the nick of time. So then he like asked for the camera from Lou, and he gets the camera, and the photo is so blurry you can't make anything out. And Jackie has a public meltdown, screaming at Lou in front of everybody. And it's like all the other autograph guys that we've known for years that we've done this stuff with. And he is
Which I could see him having a meltdown, yeah.
He was just Terry. Like, it was literally the you had one job kind of fucking promo. And just screaming at Lou. And Lou don't give a fuck. He's like, hey, man, you asked me. I took it. It's not my fault. You were moving too fast. It literally was like a picture of Bigfoot, one of those blurry, like,
right. Like you couldn't tell it
was like you can't, if you posted and said that's me with Snooki, no one would believe you. You'd be like, what are you talking about?
But I could see Jackie getting livid.
He lost his shit. And the whole time I'm standing there laughing at a distance so he doesn't hear me laughing, but I'm laughing and thinking, thank God I wasn't within arm's reach to be asked to take the picture, because if it was me that was getting yelled at right now for this, I wouldn't be enjoying it nearly as much.
That's pretty funny. Well, I said, like, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to do the autograph thing because my dad was into that, and we used to go to the Dan Marino golf tournament. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we went every year, and everybody was usually cool. But I think I've said this before, but
because it's like, charity, they're usually a little cooler about shit like that.
Yeah, and we had free tickets because my dad knew somebody or something like that. But Dan Marino was always like a dick. Like,
Marino's
a dick.
Pretty notorious for being prickly.
He was even like a couple times, like I was a kid. I mean, I was like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 or something. I don't know, 10. And I waited and asked him, and he wouldn't. He was just like a dick. And he was like, yeah, I'm not signing anything now. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like, it left an impression on me because now I'm older, and now I think Dan Marino's an asshole. Like, because he was always a dick to me. Oh, every single time we went, he was a dick. Nobody else was but Dan Marino. Like, never failed.
I heard he used to get wrecked at his own bar by like Las Olas area. Remember when he had the Old Town Tavern right in there?
I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was always a dick when we went, but I was a kid. So it's like I always hated Dan Marino because I thought he was a prick. Just because of that. Like, I care less about football because he was such a dick to me as a kid that I didn't even want to deal with him. Like, because he just wouldn't sign shit. But, everybody else was super cool. Like, I mean, there was nobody else was ever a dick. We have so many autographs that, like, my dad still has them because that's what we used to do as kids. Like, when I was a kid, we would go everywhere to get autographs. Everywhere. Like, my dad would travel everywhere. I remember we went to Sawgrass Mills Mall for Muhammad Ali. That was a big deal because, like, he was not okay at that point. He was fucked up. So, but he was still doing an autograph signing. And
how was the autograph?
Mills. It was fine. He was still like, he was bad, but not like he was still kind of coherent to what was going
Well,
on.
I'm just saying,
Uh,
like if he could sign, if the autograph looked like his
no, he
autograph or
could.
not,
He
you know?
still was fine. Yeah, he
Yeah.
still could. He was. Um, but let me tell you, he didn't say a word. Like really, it was very, uh,
Yeah.
you know, sign it and go. But it was cool. It still was Muhammad Ali. You know, it's like Will Chamberlain was always super cool because he had the restaurant a mile from my house, and he was always super cool to
What's
my dad.
what's a guy what's a guy that's banged 20,000 women got to be mad about?
Seriously, right? But he was cool with my dad because at that time had my dad had not been working. He was on like workers comp. He hurt his back, and my we didn't have a car. My parents didn't have a car at that point. So like my mom took like the bus to work, and my dad would walk with my brother every day to Will Chamberlain. And my dad became friends with like Wilt, with like the owner, the guy who like ran it for Wilt, the manager. And sometimes my dad would come home and be like, "Ah, I got this TV today," and I'm like, "Did you just walk back?" He's like, "No, the manager gave me a ride home." I was like, "How did you get a TV?" He's like, "They would let my dad play like unlimited games with my brother and let him keep all the tickets." And my dad would come home with like all the stuff that was like, 40,000 tickets that you would never get.
That's so
I'm
funny.
like, yeah, and so like Wilt signed some basketballs for my dad, like no problem.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, and then one year my dad was like, I want to do a basketball tournament at the high school, and I was in high school at the time, and Wilt was like, well, let's call it the Will Chamberlain Classic. My dad was like, oh my God, yes. So they set up the Will Chamberlain Classic, and it was like all the best teams from around. There were some from other states, and they played in the Wilt was there and everything. And yeah, they did the Will Chamberlain Classic, and Wilt was like totally cool with it and came and like watched all the games. There was like some famous NBA players in it, like Gilbert Arenas was in it, and there's a couple guys that ended up playing in the NBA. They were in high school at the time.
Right.
Um, one of the who was it? It was a guy that he was in the NFL after. I forgot who it was. But he played basketball and football, and then he went to play
Like a
in the
Gonzalez or
NFL.
something?
No, I think it was Anquan Bolden.
Oh.
Anquan Bolden played. Uh, yeah, Gilbert Arenas. There was a couple other guys that played. They ended up, becoming NBA players. But yeah, Wilt was always super cool to my dad. Like always cool to him. But we still have the basketball in a case signed by Wilt
Yeah, that's cool.
that Wilt
Did
did.
you guys
Yeah.
did you ever go get Pete Rose when Pete Rose used to?
So I actually have a Pete Rose story. So good transition.
Who doesn't have a Pete Rose story?
So right. So we always went to Pete Rose's too because the food at Pete Rose's was actually really good.
That was right off the
And
turnpike, right?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
attached to the Holiday Inn. And it's so funny because I remember Pete had a chicken sandwich with bacon and cheese that was out of this fucking world. And we used to go there because it was good. And we the I was at the time I was dating. I don't think I was married yet. No, because it was before that. I was dating my ex-wife, and my dad was like,
didn't you used to have like a radio show out of there or something like that?
he did. He was there every like Thursday,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? He would always sign autographs. Like he was never a dick. He would always sign autographs. He did his radio show from there. So one night, my dad was like, "Hey, me and your mother are going to Pete Rose's. Meet us over there." And I was like, oh, "Okay." It was late. It was like 9 o'clock. So me and my ex, we went over there. We sat down. There's nobody in the restaurant, and we're like, weird. And the waiter comes over and he goes, "Hey guys, you're gonna be our last table, whatever." We're like, "Oh, like kind of early." He's like, "Yeah, no, this is we're literally going out of business tonight. You're the last customers of Pete Rose's."
You were the
And
last
we're like,
customer at
"What?"
Pete Rose's?
Yes. So there's
Wow.
nobody else in the building. There's nobody else in there. And he's like, Pete just decided that that's the last night. Like that's it. Like he just like they're like, we came to work today, and Pete was like, we're closing tomorrow. Like this is it.
Wow.
So the public had no warning. Like we didn't know. So the four of us sat there, nobody else in there, and ate the last meal at Pete Rose's, and we were like the last one. And my dad gave like the guy a big tip, and
Did you steal anything
we
off the
got. My
walls?
dad was like, no, my dad was like depressed, like walking out of there because he loved that place, and he was like, I just can't believe it. And like, yeah, Pete just doesn't want to do it anymore, and the hotel was like kind of giving him shit, and like they wanted to like up the rent and all this other bullshit, which is weird because you think a hotel would want a restaurant. Now it's a medical center attached to the hotel. I'm like, that'd be the dumbest fucking business decision. I guess from a money standpoint, it probably was smart because they're getting paid. But you think like a hotel and a restaurant would be a good combo, not a medical center.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
mean, if the hotel owns the building, they're renting out to those medical companies or whoever,
right.
doctors or whatever there. Also, maybe they get a like if you do procedures, they get like a little thing where you do your recovery in a hotel room over there. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we were the last customers of Pete Rose's, and it was pretty cool. We were literally we walked out and they like locked the door behind us, and that was the end of it. We were like, holy
Like
shit.
like this like I'll never forget the sound of the click of that lock.
Yeah, and I got the chicken sandwich that night, and I was like eating it slow because I was like, this is it.
You should have asked them to make a few to go. You could you could have had them
Yeah,
all week.
right. So I also ran out of gas. I, I've only actually run out of gas, like actually run out of gas one time in my life, and it was in front of Pete Rose's, and I had to push the car into the Pete Rose parking lot. So my dad could come and berate me for 30 minutes of how stupid I am and I ran out of gas. Uh, and then he was also pissed because next to Pete Rose's was the gas station. He's like, why would you have pushed it into the Pete Rose's parking lot and not the extra 13 steps into the gas station? I was like, I don't know. Like, I
Why,
didn't even think about
wait,
that.
why were you calling your dad if the gas station was 13 feet away? Why didn't you walk over there and
I
buy
was
a
like
gallon of gas?
16 years old or 17 years old. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do.
You buy a gallon of gas and you bring it to your car.
Yeah. I was a kid. I had no fucking clue.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god.
yeah, that was not good. Yeah.
I've run out of gas. The best time I ran out of gas was on the way to my brother's wedding.
He got divorced though, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
No, well, I mean, I made it to the wedding, but
Oh,
did I tell you that?
you've told me that story
Yeah, yeah,
before,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I remember that's how I knew you because you said you after you told the story you said it didn't work out or she got divorced so it doesn't matter or whatever something like that. You made some comment like that. That's how I knew he got divorced.
Yeah. Can you imagine the heat I would have gotten if I guess
Oh yeah, you missed
also
the wedding.
also being I think I was best man at it. So, it's like not
Oh, you were dead.
not I think. I know I was best man at it, but yeah, that would have been like tremendous cuz I didn't have I don't think I had my phone on me for some reason or another. Or maybe I didn't have a phone. I don't know what it was. But yeah, I had to push. Like the funny thing was that was like on the way to the Keys, and it was that long. There was like that one stretch, and like
Oh, it's the
I could
Seven
have.
Mile Bridge.
Well, it was before. It was before the 7 Mile Bridge, but it was one of those first bridges, But because he was on that
Yeah,
first key, and so it wasn't like the long deal. But it was. But there was a stretch where it was like a bridge. It was like, you're like where like not only where do you pull over on a bridge, but also, that's a long walk to go get gas.
right. No, that's not somewhere you want to walk.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and then of course meeting the famous wrestlers. That's always like we talked about Jake the Snake the other day, and you meet your heroes and you're like, oh wow, they're pieces of shit. Like the Mr. Perfect story where he was you know pillowcase of pills,
yeah, but he was
and
cool.
you know he was so cool, but like I
He
literally
wasn't a
sat
dick.
there.
He wasn't an asshole.
No, but I sat there that night and just remember sitting there watching him
Right.
going, oh my God, like this is a guy that I absolutely think was one of the best wrestlers of all time. And he is fucked up,
Yeah.
like next level fucked up. Uh, you know, um, that I remember, and then like the Jake the Snake and Greg the Hammer Valentine, and those guys were all
Oh, did I
such
tell you?
fuck ups.
Speaking of Greg the Hammer Valentine stories and how you had one on not the last podcast, but the one before it.
Right.
I'm watching the fucking Patriots and Bills play today, and I'm like looking at my phone. I'm not watching at what's going on in there, but all of a sudden I hear one of the commentators go, "Oh, that's a move right out of like the Greg the Hammer Valentine handbook or something like that." I looked up. I'm like, why is Greg the Hammer Valentine popping up all the time? It's not even February, you know.
Right. It's not even Valentine's Day.
Right.
Right.
That's usually
Right.
when he pops up for memes on the 14th. That's it.
Right. Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I that is kind of weird, but yeah. And then I've told the Abdullah the Butcher story before, where he wanted me and Eric to come help with his luggage, and I opened the door, and he's like just sitting there in his underwear, his little fucking whiteies, just naked over there, basically
Nothing
asking me to
little,
come take his
nothing
bags. No,
little
nothing
about
little
his
about
tiny
that.
whiteys. That man was
Right.
what, 400 pounds?
Oh, easily. Right.
At
Right.
least 350.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's some stories I can't tell either about some of these old wrestlers, but whatever. Uh, maybe one day. You know. But now I will tell you. Uh, I don't know if I've told the Missy Hyatt story. I've told the Missy Hyatt story, right? About
I'm,
how she wanted to like get with me, but everybody was like, "No, don't. She has an STD." I've
yeah,
told this story
yeah, yeah, yeah.
before. But the night that New Jack almost killed her at War Memorial because she snorted his coke, and they came together. They were like friends. They came together. She took his coke, and he had this like knife sickle thing in his hand, and he tried to kill her, and then proceeded to make her stand outside the entire event because she was being punished for taking his coke. But he was going to kill her, like literally going to kill her.
Yeah, you
Uh,
don't fuck with New Jack.
yeah, and then he made her stand outside, and she was crying,
It's so
and I was
funny
like,
because how it's dangerous and scary as New Jack is, and as many like stories there are, and how much
right,
violence is recorded on fucking tape at this point with him. He was he was like Jackie's boy. Like they were friends, and like I think I wasn't didn't Howard when he had Jack come in for the show, wasn't Jackie his handler? Like he went and picked him up from the airport and entertained
yeah,
him, and all, like what a dangerous combination that is.
right. You put Jackie in charge of New Jack. That's
Oh,
like,
and they're hitting the
yeah,
bars, just killing time before they have to be at the show. Come on, not
right,
not Howard's brightest idea.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I remember once when we were at an ECW event at the War Memorial, and I think Jack was angling to try and stay at Jackie's house.
Who was New Jack?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jackie's like, listen, man, if I didn't have a wife at home, you could stay as long as you want, but my wife's
Oh
not
God.
fucking having it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And it's funny because New Jack was. I mean, he was a scary dude, but like he was cool as well. And were you in the room at the Ring Warrior show where he yelled at the woman?
No.
You weren't there.
Yeah, I might have been. It doesn't ring a bell, though.
This is when we did it at that strip club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was there. It was like a nightclub. It wasn't a strip club, but yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. When he yelled at the woman talking during the. You never heard this story?
It sounds familiar.
So we were doing like Howard had like a pre-meeting, and Howard booked like 72 wrestlers.
Right.
So this room is full of people, and Howard's kind of doing his spiel, as me. And there's this woman that works in the venue that just will not shut the fuck up. She's talking and talking, like in the background, like the back of the room. And New Jack says, "Bitch, can you shut the fuck up?" Like in front of everybody. And everybody turns to the woman. She like looks at everybody, and like, we're like trying not to laugh because you want to laugh, but you also don't want to get stabbed.
Right.
So we're all like chuckling, but like under our breaths. And she's like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, "God damn it." He's like, "Trying to have a meeting." He just kept going, "Trying to have a meeting here. You just won't shut the fuck up." Like just burying this poor old lady who had no clue what was going on. Uh, it was funny, you know. And then
That's tremendous.
and then Howard was like, "Oh, okay, all right, Jerome." And I've heard so I don't know if you know this story either. You can't call New Jack Jerome, right? You got to call him New Jack. And so Howard says, "Okay, all right, Jerome, calm down." So now the attention turns from this poor old woman to Howard because New Jack goes, "Why the fuck you call me by my government name?" And Howard's like, "What?" He's like, "Why the fuck you calling me by my government name?" And Howard's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, New Jack." He's like, "That's better." Yeah, twice I've heard Howard call him Jerome and him lose his shit and be like, "Don't fucking call me my government name." Yeah, twice.
Why would Howard think it would be okay to call him Jerome?
Because Howard thinks everybody's his friend. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So he that night was a shit show in itself. But yeah, and then we worked with New Jack. He was a manager of the other team, and he was fine. Nothing happened. Tarver was on his team, and he managed Tarver and Corey Chavis, I think it was.
Yeah. I just remember us that before the one set of tapings where we just went out all night, and like we wrecked half of the locker room. They were you guys were hungover the whole fucking day.
Yeah, that was it. We were dancing all night.
Who was it? Didn't one of the like announcers get sick and have to go to the hospital or something like that?
Who was it?
Was it LaFlash?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like he wasn't even out with us, I don't think. He's out doing his own thing.
Yeah, he had to go to the hospital or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. He those nights were that night was crazy because that's the night we were dancing and there's the video of Vito dancing on the dance floor. I think,
yeah, well, Vito and JoJo's wife.
Yeah, there was like a guy there with a helmet. Is that right, or did I dream that?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if you looked at the video, there's a guy dancing on the dance floor with a helmet on.
I mean, entirely possible. Downtown Fort Lauderdale, entirely possible. I remember you. I remember you getting brave enough to dance and try and like.
Oh, I was fucking hammered that night. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was obliterated that night. Yeah, that was good times though.
Yeah.
Good times, but well. Now we're just old and I got no stories. I got no current stories.
You're not making any when you're getting sick all the time here.
I'm dying over here. You're lucky I even gave you. Where are we at here? How many minutes?
I'm lucky. We're
lucky that we're at the 48-minute mark because I feel like absolute death. So,
yeah, and it comes across. It's really come across in your performance today. I gotta tell you.
There we go.
Like you understand how sore my whole body is from carrying you. It's just fucking. God. What a load you are, man. At least lose some weight if I got to carry you through this whole thing.
I was going to say, well, hopefully all this carrying helps you lose some weight.
I can't. Yeah, I got a 280-pound fucking weight on my shoulders. It doesn't matter how much I lose. It's still a fucking cumbersome burden.
Whatever. I think I'm moments away from actually going to urgent care, so.
Are you really that fucked up?
Something's wrong.
Oh, you're
something's wrong here.
This is fucking hilarious.
Something's wrong.
At this time of night, after a holiday, I wonder how fucking busy they are right now.
Well, especially with all the vid cases here. I mean, yeah, it's probably pretty busy.
Oh my God. Well. Best of luck. Listen, seriously, write this shit down because sometimes you go in these places and they never let you out. So
also that's why I don't like going in there.
Listen, don't if you don't put your head down on a fucking hospital bed, and if you do, keep one foot on the floor. Do not let them put you completely in the bed, or you might be fucked. So, just please write this, text it to me, whatever you got to do. I
Yeah.
I promise I won't fuck with it until you die. But we need to cover our bases here, and by our bases I
Yeah.
mean I need this. I'm looking out for number one here because if you die on me, I'm stuck with nothing. All I got is fucking nothing. I already lost Marco. So, by the way,
You did.
speaking of Marco, let's
Yeah.
just here at the end where probably anyone related to him has stopped listening. So I bump into him outside like 2 days ago, and we're chit chatting for a while, and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna come over Monday. We'll watch the game." I haven't seen this cocksucker in like a month. Like I live, 2 doors down from him, basically. Haven't seen this
Right.
cocksucker in a month. Uh, he's like, "Oh," so he messages me today and says, like, "Oh, my brother tested positive, and his brother was actually at the house when I saw him. So his
Right.
brother had been around the wife and the baby and him, and he's like, I'm not gonna come over tomorrow." And I just kind of like told him that was we're gonna use an '80s vernacular here. I told him that was gay, and he
80s vernacular.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing it for you. I don't want to get you and Adam sick." And I'm like rolling my eyes. And now I'm gonna secretly, between you and me, I'm gonna wait and see if he goes to work on Monday. If he goes to work on Monday, but doesn't come over for the game, then I'm gonna call. I'm calling shenanigans on the whole thing. I'm calling shenanigans
Man.
on the whole goddamn thing.
That'd be actually pretty funny if he duped you like that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. All right, I gotta figure out what's going on here with my,
listen, just don't forget. I'm gonna text you later. I need you to send me that stuff.
Goodbye.
Bye.